Good morning, children. Now let us continue with the chapter 9, that is soil. So in the last class, what we have studied? In the first class, we had studied about soil, formation of soil, then soil profile, then horizons, all those things. Then after that, in the next class, I had taken, previous class I have taken factors affecting the soil formation, that is climate, landscape, and nature of the rock. Then next, we had studied about the composition of soil. So soil has four main components, that is clay, sand or gravel, then water, then air and organic matter. So it contains 25% of air, 25% of water, 45% of minerals and 5% of organic matter. Then we had studied about the properties of soil. That is, the first property was absorption, the second one was pore space, and the third one was percolation rate. So what do you mean by absorption? Absorption means the ability of a particular type of soil to absorb and retain the water is called its water holding capacity. Then next was pore space. Soil has spaces between its particles known as pore spaces. So pore spaces is very important property of the soil. Then percolation rate. Percolation means the movement of water through the soil. Percolation rate is the rate or the speed at which water flows through the pores in the soil. So this is about the properties of soil. Then we had studied about types of soil. So soils are of different types because of their absorbing capacity. So the three types of soil are clayey soil, loamy soil and sandy soil. So we had said about sandy soil. So sandy soil is mainly found in the places with a warm climate such as deserts and the marshy areas. And this soil cannot hold water for a long time. Then we had said about clay soil. So here it consists of a large proportion of finer particles. Clay soil contains more than 30% of fine clay particles and it is used for cultivating the crops. Then loamy soil. So loamy soil is a mixture of slate, clay and sand, which is the best topsoil for growing plants. Now let us continue with the percolation rate of soil. So what do you mean by percolation? Already I have told you, that is the ability to retain the water in the soil. So percolation rate of soil is used to determine the absorption rate of soil. So what is percolation rate? It is the rate of soil is used for determining the absorption rate of the soil. The rate of percolation is the ratio of the amount of water in millimeters to the percolation time in minutes. So what is percolation rate? Ratio of the amount of water in milliliters by percolation time in minutes. So let us continue with the activity now first. So here this is activity 9.4 in your textbook on page number 100 you have. Okay, now you see here, for this activity you have to divide yourself into three teams. Name the teams as A, B and C. So you will be finding out how fast the water passes down the soil. You will need a hollow cylinder or a pipe. Ensure that each team uses the pipe of the same diameter. Some suggestions for obtaining such a pipe are given below. So how to get this pipe in your home? So first is, if possible, get a small tin can and cut off its bottom. So only round will be left out. Down, what is that you have to cut off the bottom. Then next, you can use the PVC pipe of approximately diameter 5 cm is available. Cut it into 20 cm long pieces and use them. So if you have the pipe, you can use it. You can measure it as 20 cm long and use them. At the place where you collect the soil, place the pipe about 2 cm deep in the ground. So where you are collected the soil, place the pipe about 2 cm deep in the ground. Pour 200 ml water in the pipe slowly. For measuring 200 ml water, you can take and use any empty water bottle of 200 ml bottle. So then what you have to do is note the time when you start pouring the water, okay, or when all the water has percolated, leaving the pipe empty. So all the water must be taken away by the soil and it should be left empty. Note the time again. Be careful not to let the water spill or run down on outside of the pipe while pouring. Calculate the rate of percolation by using the following formula. So I told you percolation rate, what is the formula? Percolation rate is equal to amount of water by percolation time, that is in minutes. Now here one example is shown for you. For example, suppose that for a certain sample it took 20 minutes for 200 ml of water to percolate. So what you will write? The formula rate of percolation is equal to 200 ml. Means you have taken water how much? 200 ml. Then how much time? 20 minutes. So when you divide, this 0 will go, this 0. 2 ones are, 2 ones are and 0. So 10 ml per minute. So like this we have calculated the rate of percolation. So calculate the rate of percolation in your soil sample. Compare your findings with others and arrange the soil samples in the increasing order of the rate of percolation. So you only can make 3 teams by yourself. You can take it and you can measure it and take the water, put the water and see the time and then see whether all the readings you will get it same. So whether you will get the rate of percolation same 10 ml or no. If it is less or more, you have to arrange it in the increasing order. Okay, this was how to calculate the rate of percolation activity. Now next, moisture. Now let us calculate the moisture in the soil. For this also you have an activity here again. Through that activity we'll understand. So first what you have to take is on the page number 101 you have in the textbook. So first take a boiling tube. Then you have to put 2 spoonfuls of soil sample in it. Heat on a flame. Then observe it. Let us find out what happens upon heating. Do you see water drops anywhere? If yes, where did you find them? So where will find the water drops? So let us see here. Here is a figure. So here, this is a figure showing the removing moisture from the soil. So here this is a boiling tube. Here we have taken the soil sample and here is a burner which heats the test tube. And here the drops are formed and this is a stand. So now on heating what happens? On heating, water in the soil evaporates, moves up and condenses on the cooler inner walls of the upper part of the boiling tube. So what happens here is, see here drops will be formed on heating. On a hot summer day, the vapor coming out of the soil reflect the sunlight and the air above the soil seems to shimmer. Means what? It will be shining. So on hot summer day what happens? The vapor will be coming out and due to the reflection of the sunlight and the air above the soil will shimmer. Means it will start shining. Then after heating the soil, take it out of the tube. Compare it with the soil which has not been heated. Note the difference between the two. So now you have to find the difference between the soil which was heated and the soil which was not heated and write down the observation. So this was the activity showing removing the moisture from the soil. So this was the activity, removing the moisture from the soil. Now next is absorption of water by the soil. So now first we saw the percolation rate of water, then through an activity. Then we have seen the moisture in the soil, that also through an activity, that is removing the moisture from the soil. Now the next one is absorption of water by the soil. So do all the soils absorb water to the same extent? Let us find it out. This is also activity 9.6, which is in your textbook on page number 101. So for this again you have to take a plastic funnel. Then take a filter paper or a piece of newspaper sheet. Fold it and place it as shown in the figure 9.7. After that you have to weigh 50 gram of dry powdered soil and pour it into the funnel. Measure a certain amount of water in the measuring cylinder and put it drop by drop on the soil. You can use a dropper for this purpose. Do not let all the water fall at one spot only. So here in the figure you can see. So this is a figure showing the absorption of water in the soil. So what is this? This is a beaker. Then this is a funnel using the newspaper, or you can use the sheet of paper, or here it is a filter paper also, you can use it. And this is a funnel, and this is a dropper where you are putting drop by drop water. You cannot put the whole water at a time. Drop by drop, it is told in the activity to do it. Then after that, you can use a dropper for this purpose. Do not let all the water fall on one spot only. Okay. Now next, pour water all over the soil. So in this way you have to pour all the water in the soil. Keep pouring the water till it starts dripping. So you have to go on pouring the water till it starts dripping, means completely wet. It should drip like this, as it is shown in the figure, like this. It must be falling down, dripping. Then what you have to do is subtract the amount of water left in the measuring cylinder from the amount you started with. So you have to calculate now how much water you have used and how much water is remaining. So this is the amount of water retained by the soil. So this will give you the amount of water which is retained by the soil. And we have to record the observations in our notebooks in the following manner. So the first one is the weight of the soil, how much we took, 50 gram. Then initial volume of water in the measuring cylinder. So it is considered as UML. Then final volume of water in the measuring cylinder, that is V. So volume of water absorbed by the soil is U minus V. Means what? Initial volume of the water minus final volume of the water. Then weight of the water absorbed by the soil is equal to U minus Vg. So this ml means 1 ml of water has a weight equal to 1 g. So now the percentage of water absorbed. Now percentage of water absorbed. The formula to find the percentage of water absorbed is U minus V by 50 into 100. And we have to repeat this activity with a different soil, that is clay soil, sandy soil, loamy soil, all this soil. Then samples you would get the same results for all the samples. So what you have to find? You have to find whether you will get the same result for all the samples. After that, you have to discuss the result with your friends and answer the following questions. So now let us discuss these questions with each other. Now let me discuss and tell the answers for you. Then you can find it out by doing this activity at home. Do you get the same answers or no? So the first one is, which soil would have the highest percolation rate? Already we have studied, isn't it? Which soil would have the highest percolation rate? Sandy soil. Then next question is, which soil would have the lowest percolation rate? This also we have studied, that is the clay soil. Then Bojo heard from his neighbor that 8 to 10 days after the rain, the level of water in a pond or well rises. Which type of soil will allow water to reach a well faster and in greater amount? So here which type of soil? Here also again it is a sandy soil because it has the highest percolation rate. Then the next question is, which type of soil retains the highest amount of water and which retains the retains the least? So the highest retaining capacity or the amount of water is clay soil, and the amount of water which retains the least is the sandy soil. Now here there is one more question, last question, that is, can you suggest any method to let more rainwater percolate and reach the water underground? So for this also, what the answer is, which any other method so that we can let more rainwater percolate and reach the water underground. So the first point here is rain harvesting. So by rain harvesting we can suggest this method to reach more rain water into the ground. Then the second one is dig or loosen the top soil regularly. Then another method is prevent free flow of water. And the fourth one is make earthen bunds. So earthen bunds, I'll show you what are earthen bunds. So these are the earthen bunds with the pitching. And the last method is make rain pits to collect the rainwater and allow it to recharge. So in this way we can let more rainwater percolate and reach the underground water. So this is a picture showing the earthen bund with the pitching. So this was the activity which we have done and found, discuss the answers. So you can do this activity and see whether you will get the same answers or you will get the different answers. Then now next is soil and crops. Now we already have studied about the soil, isn't it? Now different types of soil are found in different parts of India. So not only one type of soil, but there are different types of soil. They are found in different parts of India. In some parts there is clay soil, in some parts there is loamy soil, while some other part there is a sandy soil. So each part of the country or each part of the state is having the different types of soil. Some may be clay, some may be loamy, or some may be sandy soil. So soil is affected by wind, rain, temperature, light and humidity. These are some important climatic factors which will affect the soil profile and bring changes in the soil structure. So already we have studied soil is affected by what? Wind, rainfall, temperature, light and humidity. And we have studied about some of the climatic factors also, that is the climate, landscape and the nature of the rock. In the last class I have told you, isn't it? Which will affect the soil profile and bring changes in the soil structure. The climatic factors as well as the components of soil determine the various types of vegetation and crops that might grow in any region. Clay and loamy soil are both suitable for growing cereals like wheat and gram. So which soil is suitable for growing the cereals? That is clay soil and the loamy soil. Such soils are good at retaining water. So why this type of soil is used? Because it is having a good retaining water capacity. Then for paddy soil, rich in clay and organic matter. So for paddy soil, which is rich in clay and organic matter and having a good capacity to retain water, are ideal. These are used for growing the paddy. Then for masoor, that is the dals or the grams which we use. It is called lentils also. And other pulses, loamy soil which drain water easily. So for these grams and all, what we use, which soil we use? We use the loamy soil. Why we use loamy soil? Because it will drain the water very easily. Which drain water easily are required. For cotton, sandy, loam or loamy soil which drain the water easily. Again, for growing the cotton, which type of soil do we use? We use the sandy soil. Why we use this sandy soil for the cotton? Because it will drain the water easily and can hold plenty of air, which is suitable for growing the cotton. Then crops such as wheat are grown in fine clayey soils because they are rich in humus. So why wheat is grown in the clay soil? Because this soil is rich in humus and they are fertile. Humus means it will contain what? All the dead and decaying matter. Then find from your teachers, friends, parents and farmers the type of soil and crops grown in your area. Enter the data in the following. So we live in Gulbarga, isn't it? Now which type of crop is famous here for growing? So that you have to write it in the table. Okay, and write it. Which crop is grown here? I think mostly everyone knows, no? Jawar will grow here. Jawar is good. Jawar and tur dal is used here for growing this crops are grown in Gulbarga here. So here is a table 9.2, that is serial number, type of soil and the crop grown. So first is given for you. First one is clay soil. So in clay soil, which crop is grown? Just now we read wheat, isn't it? Yeah. Then next is clay and loam. That is used, this clay and loamy. This is a type of soil where rice is grown. Then type of soil is sandy soil. So sandy soil is used for growing the cotton. So this way we have completed the table 9.2. Okay. Then now let us study about soil erosion. What do you mean by soil erosion? So the removal of land surface by water, wind or ice is known as erosion. Plant roots firmly bind the soil. In the absence of plants, soil becomes loose. So what happens? So it can be moved by the wind and the flowing water. So the moving away of the soil by the rain, water or wind, that is called as the soil erosion. So what happens by this? The soil will be moved away and it will be moved from one place to another. And in this way there won't be the soil which is fertile for growing the crops or the plants. Erosion of the soil is more severe in the areas of the little or no surface vegetation. So vegetation, if there is little and there is no surface vegetation and all, there the soil will be moved away. So what if there are trees one after the other, one after the, so in this way the soil won't be washed away by the rain or by the wind. Or bunds must be constructed. You might have seen with the wood. Everywhere they construct the wood like round and they put up the iron, this thing, rods and all, so that the soil won't be washed away or the animals doesn't enter into the fields. So what happens here is erosion of the soil is more severe in the areas of little or no surface vegetation, such as desert or bare lands. So cutting of trees and deforestation should be prevented and effort must be made to increase the green areas. So how can we prevent this soil erosion is, first of all, we shouldn't cut the trees. Then second one is deforestation should be prevented. And the next one is effort must be made to increase the green grass. These are the measures to be taken to avoid the soil erosion. So did you understand now what is soil erosion? The removal of land surface by water, wind or ice is known as soil erosion. Then now next, Now here is a case study. Let us read this example, then I'll tell you what. John, Rashida and Radha went to Leeladhar Dada and Santosh Malviya of Sohagpur in Madhya Pradesh. Leeladhar Dada was preparing the soil to make the items like surai, matki, kala, earthen firing pan, etc. The following is the conversation they all had with the Leeladhar Dada. Where was the soil obtained from? So here the thing, this thing you might have seen with the mud they make this earthen pots, toys and all. I told you clay soil was used. So here the people are preparing how they prepare this, how they make this surai, matka and all. You might have seen in the jatra and all, you will get no brown color, black color, where you keep the water and the water becomes cold and we drink it. Instead of fridge you can use that matka, surai and all. Okay, so what happened? Where was the soil obtained from? We bought the black soil from the piece of barren land. So here they have taken the black soil. From where? From the barren land where the crops are not grown, from that land. How is the soil prepared? Dry soil will be placed in the large tank and would be cleaned of pebbles. So what they do, they collect the dry soil and they place it in the large tank and they'll clean it, all whatever stones and all or dust, I think all the leaves and all whatever is there, that will be removed. After removing these things, the soil will be soaked for around 8 hours. So they'll soak and keep, that is they'll mix with the water and keep it for 8 hours. This soil would be kneaded after mixing horse dung. So kneading means, I told you how for chapati and all atta you make, no, like that they may knead it. How? They'll mix it with the horse dung. The kneaded soil would be placed on the wheel and given appropriate shape. So on the wheel they place it and whatever shape they want they can make through that wheel. The final shape is given with the hands. The items are colored after 3 days of drying. All the items are baked at high temperature after drying in the air. So here why the horse dung is mixed in the soil? So here the horse dung is used, burnt horse dung is used because it will help to open the pores in the soil so that water could percolate out of the matkas and surais, evaporate and cools the water inside. You know, Sohagpuri surais and matkas are famous in far off places like Jabalpur, Nagpur and Allahabad. So this is a way how they make the pots. One example is given to you all and it is shown. So now this was the end of this chapter. So in this chapter what all we have learnt? We have learnt that soil is important for life on earth. Soil profile is a section through which different layers of soil, various layers are called horizons. Soil is of different types, clay soil, loamy soil and sandy. Percolation rate of water is different in different types of soil. It is highest in the sandy soil and least in the clay soil. Different types of soils are used to cultivate different types of crops. Clay and loam are suitable for growing wheat, gram and paddy. Cotton is used in sandy loam soil. Soil holds water in it, which is called soil moisture. The capacity of a soil to hold water is important for various crops. Clay soil is used to make pots, toys and statues. So this much we have learnt in this class. Do you know that rivers of the North India which flow from Himalayas bring a variety of materials including silt, clay, sand and gravel. They deposit their materials called alluvial soil in the plains of northern India. This soil is very fertile and supports nearby half the population of India. So this was the end of the lesson soil. So we have completed the first semester portion, that is 9 lessons we have completed. Okay, now questions will be given based on this what I have taken the lesson today. You have to write the answers, find the answers, read the textbook and write the answers for this. Okay, thank you.